Okay, Jimmy Johnson, Super Bowl winning coach for the Cowboys, was asked about Dan Campbell. Now, why it's interesting to hear what Jimmy Johnson has to say is because Jimmy Johnson had a very similar start to his coaching career as Dan Campbell. So, if you remember, the Dallas team that he took over finished 3-13, and then when he took over in 1989, he won just one game. Dan Campbell, remember when his first season, very rough, 3 wins, and then his second season, 7-9. Okay, turning things around, feeling a lot better. In Dan Campbell's second season, 9-8. Okay, and then the following 2 seasons, the Cowboys go on, um, or excuse me, and then in his third season, 11-5 record, losing to the Lions, and then the next 2 seasons wins back-to-back Super Bowls. So you can see improvement, improvement, and I kind of feel like this is the path that the Lions are on. When you know they won just one game, the Lions won 3 games, 7-9. We go 8-9. I could see us getting a playoff berth next year. I don't know if we're Super Bowl contenders, but we definitely get in the playoffs, win a game. I mean, that would be awesome. And then you've kind of set yourself up. All those rookies, all these guys that we're building would be then in our second and third year. Then you could legit go for Super Bowls in 2 years from now. So something to think about. Something that's kind of cool, just the fact that Jimmy Johnson had a similar path, and you see it right here. They break it all down: 3-13, 9-8, blah blah blah. Here's what he had to say about Dan Campbell. I think Dan Campbell has been impressive because early with Dan, you saw the team play extremely hard and they were physical. But he said, man, they play hard, they're well coached, but they don't win. And that was all the Lions fans' thoughts was we play hard, man, we really want to do it, but we don't win. And that was so frustrating. Last year was frustrating, but I mean, 2 years ago, Dan Campbell's first year, but this year when we were 1-6, it was, I mean, you couldn't believe your eyes because we're not winning. We couldn't win. We're 1-6. Well, all of a sudden, that hard work and effort started to pay dividends, and they started winning games. And he said he's done a great job. I'm very impressed with Dan Campbell. And everybody is saying something similar to that. But I guess if anything, it just proves that they're on the right track. Excuse me, this is what Dan Campbell said after the season. We're on the right track. I do think you can catapult if you allow it to. So, meaning we've got some momentum here, but we really got to make something happen. So if I look over at Jimmy Johnson, I just want to look at this again. When Jimmy Johnson took over, 1-15, 7-9, 11-5, and then the back-to-back Super Bowls. But here in his third year is when he made the playoffs. And remember, it was the 1989 draft, the 1990 draft, where they drafted so incredibly well. Troy Aikman, the rest of those guys. What are we doing? We're drafting really, really well, giving us a chance to, when the 89 draft was so good, and that's when, and those guys were in their third, fourth, fifth year, and that's when you win rings. So are the Lions going to win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years? I don't know, right? But we've at least got a trajectory, a path, an option now. Before there was no. The answer would be no. So here's what Dan Campbell said after the season. But I believe in the team. I believe in chemistry, the identity of this team, and the work that they put in. So I really do. We're going to grow and get better Ultimately, that's what this is all about, was eventually going to get in the tournament, because once you get in the tournament, anything can happen. So you've heard Jared Goff talk about it. You've heard other guys talk about, man, if we can just get ourselves in the playoffs next year, and that's the goal. And for the first time in a long time, it really, really, really feels real for a couple of reasons. A, we know about our team and everything, but the next thing is the division. Aaron Rodgers no longer scares us. We go into Lambeau, last game of the year. Here's Kirby Joseph with that interception, and beat them in a must-win game. And you just kind of took that invincibility away from the Packers that they've had for so long. The Vikings don't scare you. The Vikings are always going to be good, but they're not like unbeatable. We can never beat them. And the Bears are down, and we've got time there, I think. So all of a sudden, the division's wide open. We've said that in the past, but it was like, no, it's not, though. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, and if it's not Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be, Jay Cutler back when he would like put a couple good years together with Urlacher. I mean, there's no way. There's no way we were going to win the division. We can truly win the division, have a home playoff game. If you have a home playoff game, you can win that home. If we have a home playoff game, we will win. There's no question. can you imagine a home playoff game in front of our fans? Be incredible. So let me know in the comments our trajectory. Do you think it's right on pace with one of the best kind of turnarounds? That's the whole thing with this Jimmy Johnson thing. Cowboys were nothing. They turn around the right way, culture, drafting well, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. So are we on our way to a playoff game this year and then possibly Super Bowl, or is it, hey, we need to really make a run, or hey, we're overshooting it because we remember this is a team that started 1-6, really not that good ultimately, and we played well, but we still, who knows, right? Sometimes I think that with this Lions team is, yeah, we got hot, things were looking good, and Jared Goff was playing well, and things were good, but we can't forget that you look around the roster, especially on the defensive side, it's not great. And obviously this offseason, that's a big focus, and we're going to get better in on the defensive side of the ball. But to just act like we're a shoe-in for the playoffs, I'm not there yet, and I can't wait to see what happens this offseason. But I also think, man, another year with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff has to be good. St. Brown is legit. Our offensive line is legit. We're going to add pieces on the defensive side of the ball. Our special teams is locked in. Well, I shouldn't say that. Our kicker's okay, but he's not a locked in kicker, but still good punter. Special teams is good. So all of a sudden you think, well, I think we could do something. We've got players all over on the on the offensive side of the ball. So let me know, are Lions fans almost too amped up about this turnaround and thinking playoffs are a shoo-in, or it's like, come on, look around the division. That's where all you got to look is the division is weak. I mean, it really is. Packers up and down. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, hello, that's fine. If he does come back, that's fine. I mean, I hate to you I don't want to be disrespectful to a legend, but he's done. He's done. So Packers, no problem. Vikings, always going to be good, always going to be around there. Kirk Cousins, what's the ceiling? It's just you go and have to beat them. You do. You have to beat the Vikings. They're going to be around. They're always going to be solid. And the Bears aren't there yet. They're just not there yet. I think Justin Fields is a great, exciting player, but I think we really learned how to play against him, and he's not going to be easy, but you just continue to learn what works against him and what doesn't, and you'll be ready for him. I think his dynamic ability surprises you at first, and so then you're like, okay, but we've adjusted that. So let me know your thoughts in the comments on what Jimmy Johnson said, our rebuild and our trajectory, just like the Cowboys, and we'll see all of you